Hey guys, welcome back to another 3Ps 1 Pod video. And today we're doing a review of Disney's new movie Elemental, as you can probably see from the title and the thumbnail. This one's a little bit different than our other videos. The drawings in the background are just stupid little fan art that we did. We're not really talking about the drawings, we're mostly just talking about the movie, that way that we can get all of our thoughts out. We also drew little avatars as the elements we thought we would be. Also, this is why this is just me doing this intro. We recorded for almost an hour, so I had to cut out a lot of stuff, and that's why the audio kind of starts in the middle of the conversation, so hopefully you can kind of figure out what we were talking about, and I hope you guys enjoy.
This whole movie is just Zootopia meets, what was the other one? Inside Out meets but it's just worse. It's everything that
I was character design wise, but worse.
I was watching it and I was I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I have just seen this movie, but I hadn't, obviously, but I just felt like I had because it was so the same thing that they've already done 3,000 times.
The fire customer looks like the kid from Meet the Robinsons. The fact that you wrote that down. Ew,
the forced quote-unquote adult humor that they're trying to throw in there, and it's just not funny.
And that was kind of one of two things. That was it. There was only two things.
I know.
And I feel
and those jokes are totally fine as long as they aren't just completely forced and
lazy Ash. That was that, and then the hanky panky thing, which was just
that
weird.
was so weird.
That one was way too direct. Yeah, it was way too direct. Also, why would you say that? I know.
Get out of here so your mother and I can go hanky panky.
It's I think everyone knows what hanky panky. You're 5 years old and you know what hanky panky means.
And I think the problem was that I'm just literally now realizing is that they tried to combine two different plots into one. In the fact that they wanted to have a rom-com movie, but also an immigration story, which I do feel you definitely can do because I think it's important. That is an important story to tell. But they should have focused on one more than the other, but they tried to focus on both equally. The whole Wade family house scene, I think, is that's important in telling, showing how it's difficult if you're dating if you're dating someone and they don't understand your culture, and then obviously the overt racist comments that were made toward her. That's important to show in movies, kids movies. But the problem is that scene took up so much time. So it's if you want to make this a rom-com or a romance movie,
have her focus
do
on the
that.
families.
But if you want to make this an immigration story and then also kind of have romantic elements of oh yeah, I'm dating this guy, my dad doesn't want me to date him, but that's not really the point. The point is that I want to follow my dreams, and my dreams don't align with my father's. That is a movie in itself, and I think it should have maybe focused entirely on that and then had the romantic subplot.
I agree.
Or and focus entirely on the romance and have it be I'm facing all these challenges, my boyfriend's family being racist, or people in public treating me differently or treating us differently, I feel that could have been the center, that could have been the focus, and then the subplot could have been oh, my dad wants me to run this store, but I don't want to do it. But that's they
tried
to focus on both, and I think that they were too
because I
would
feel
have been strong
showing the not to mention the leaky pipe thing actually was kind of just dumb. No, I don't think they need that at all.
And why did she have those anger issues? That actually didn't contribute to the because I was waiting.
Yeah,
I was waiting for it to be some big thing where she would explode at the end or something like that, and she never did.
First of all, the outburst thing doesn't really make sense because it's okay, it seems like no other people in Element City have some kind of outburst power like that.
Yeah.
She's the only one. But if they were gonna do that, maybe if instead of anger, why are you always making the strong female lead? It just has to be angry and annoying.
I know.
Yeah, I feel maybe if they did something anxiety, which would make way more sense for her situation. Yeah. I feel that would just make more sense and more realistic, and also could be an opportunity to portray, I don't know, feeling she has all this stuff to live up to, and also we could show how to educate how people on anxiety and how to respond to that. And
the weird thing is that they don't hint at the fact that she doesn't want to run the shop. They don't talk about that until the end. She didn't have to have these angry outbursts.
And she does the glass blowing thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She could have, instead of it feels like they were working on 2 different movies, and then they just not the same sort of base concept, but then they tried to patch it together because they
wanted to keep both.
Didn't have time, and they're pumping these movies out so fast that they don't really have time to make really emotional, good plots anymore. But you could have so easily taken Ember's desire to move away and do something else. That could have been shown from the beginning. It could have been shown that she really wants to be a good daughter and really wants to impress her dad and do what's right by her dad, but she knows that that's not what she, like, that's not her dream, it's his dream. Instead of having these random weird anger outbursts being, that's the original problem, and then it doesn't really get solved. Like, she just falls in love and then she starts being nicer to people.
But also, like, they have the blue fire thing. I was expecting something like maybe she has blue fire inside of herself, and that's like different. That's what makes her different. Because her mom was like connected to like the spiritual side, like the fortunes and stuff.
Everything was so weirdly placed because they were like, oh, I've never seen anyone go into the purple flame before, and so that like sets you up to think that, oh, later in the movie she's gonna have a really emotional outburst where she goes purple. Never happens. They just like ignore it. But then also she meets this guy and then she falls in love with him and she realizes that like compassion is a thing. Like
she just learns
like
it
at the like literally.
The message that I found kind of confusing is specifically in that point when he was saying that, like when he was saying I get angry too sometimes. It's not always a bad thing. His like first time voice acting. But like why I don't really, like, I get it, like, yeah, we all get angry, it's kind of a human thing, but why, like, her outbursts were different, like, they were actually negatively impacting, like, everyone around her. And the store, her family. It would just sound like, oh yeah, I'm just listening and giving you an answer for now so you feel a little bit better, but, like, it wasn't even, like, let's address this later, it's just like, okay, that's all.
Which is kind of weird because it seems like the whole time Wade's supposed to be this, not like a therapist character, but he really, like you were saying, show her compassion, I guess, which is, like, kind of weird she somehow didn't know that before.
Her, like, her emotional, like, angry outbursts were based on like nothing. I don't understand. And if they like if they focused on that, because she is the main character. If they focused on her and then she had this big thing or like got really angry at Wade or her dad, that would have been like an interesting, compelling plot. Like she's being pushed so far because she wants these things. She wants to be with Wade and she wants to follow her dreams, like glass blowing. Or Wade is opening her eyes to a world that she had never thought of before because she thought that she had to live this way. And then at the end, her dad is like forcing her to take over the store. And at that point, the anger comes back. She does something really bad, like she yells at him, says something she doesn't mean, and then that's like the climax. The climax is this it's because you're building this relationship between her and her father the whole movie. Then the romance would be like sort of this subplot, but also still important, obviously. The healing part would be her learning how to deal with that and how to deal with those emotions and like having a really big conversation with her dad, and then like that would make sense. That's just like not what happened. It was so
that would have been a great, like, would have been so many good lessons to learn if they went that route too, because like it would have been like, we need to talk about your feelings, you need to be able to like, communication is key, which they kind of did, but also just like it was the way it just ended, and it was just like, I mean, she was about to be handed over until basically Wade was basically the one forcing himself to
she was like
say what she wanted.
She did none of that herself.
It was like, okay, why didn't we just let her learn the lessons and also like, show a good relationship, because like, I mean, they ultimately did show the good relationship between Ember and her parents, but it was just like,
but there was no she didn't work to get there.
Like it just like happened, it fell into her lap. I feel like the whole rains on an Element City.
That would be like
it'd be like the dead ancestor.
How do we even have
oh wait, but they have ocean.
I'm gonna say, how do we even have like normal water? Like I don't understand how that's
what makes it like sentient.
Well, I was just thinking that because
is there normal
the
fire?
Subway because the subways
wait, were there
the
trees?
Ground?
What about the ground? Like that's also
or,
the
were
dead
there
ancestors.
forests?
Are
there
dead
clouds?
Earth people?
Like clouds in the sky?
Is there atmosphere? Yeah, where do they live? They don't live.
Where does this fit into the Pixar thing? Was there a Pizza Planet truck?
Let's talk about the real questions. Wait. Was there a Pizza Planet truck? I did not see a Pizza Planet truck.
I bet it was like in the shop, like at some point.
On someone's like t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is a much more interesting video. How does Elemental fit into the Pixar verse?
I feel like it would have to be after WALL-E. But when he threw a curveball,
but they came back to Earth, so it way.
No, this is ages after WALL-E.
No,
what
if it said it was ages before? Because we all come from elements, we all come from like the stars up above.
So right, that makes so much sense because they would have created this society.
Specifically,
elements would have created this society, and then the elements would have evolved into humans.
Do you think the elements are really big, like human size, or they're really tiny?
What if this is a micro society?
Yes.
Wait, this is like all happening in one atom.
like the Lorax and Horton Hears yeah.
We have got the insignificant female
I
boss
hate
character.
her character design was
big
so
and angry.
ugly. Why was she pink?
On every promotional.
Was she like a sunset cloud? Like, I don't understand. Why was she pink?
I'm actually going to put this in because I saw
Yeah,
a TikTok
every
and it was like,
promotional, she's
why,
the same
someone was like,
PNG.
"Yo, why is
Oh,
everyone?"
really?
She's like, she must be a pretty important character. And she
Nope.
literally was not. She didn't turn out to be.
Why do they cry so much?
I think
guess
it's like
it's
to
like
show
because it's like
their-
water.
The water, but it's like.
Oh, and then like that's what saves him at the end, which was also ridiculous.
That was so-
like the fact that he literally dies. Like I wonder what that looked like.
No,
They
but also
didn't
like
show
it was there's many
Tiny
waves in
waves,
the
yeah.
book.
I know. Where does
But
the
also,
sentience
like-
come from?
But also like
That is
does mean-
another question.
Yeah, no, because like could he actually like could he not just turn into a cloud?
Wait.
Could he not just turn into like Cloud Wade?
Weed, yeah, but not
Like Cloud Wade, exactly.
Because water.
No,
cloud
that
just,
actually would have been kind of
evaporated
sick.
conde-
Like if at the
cool.
end he would have like he was a cloud person.
Also, the fact that the cloud boss was named
No,
Gale.
okay, if they have a baby,
Pick
though.
another name.
I know.
Windy would have been better.
If Ember and Wade had a child, it would be a cloud. That's my
The fact that
headcanon.
they touched each other and it worked.
No, the fact that he said.
I'm
wait,
like,
why
why
didn't
didn't
we try that
everything? And also, what if that also was because Ember had the blue flame in her and she was magical or something?
So
I
are
don't
we
know.
saying that no water and fire element have ever
I know.
tried
Also,
to get together before?
If an earth
Ever.
if an earth and a water would like the water suck into the earth if it sat out in the sun too long.
If they are so dangerous to each other, why are they legally allowed to coexist? Like if they are truly
they just,
could
yeah.
murder each other at any second, why do they live together? It makes no sense.
It's odd because,
Element
like-
City, like we can't just call this the Great American Melting Pot because like
Because they call it Element City, but it seems seemingly none of it was built for fire.
Style.
every cityscape, like every time they
Except for
showed
the
the
streets.
city, yeah, the
The
streets were good.
I thought it looked cool.
Oh yeah, I
The
put that down
cityscape
here. The cityscape
was
looked like a
kinda
bunch of
boring.
vases on a shelf.
It
That's
looked
the
like
microbiome.
it.
It's literally based on a shelf.
Okay.
Okay, Ratatouille.
How,
People were just kind of there. What do they do?
They
Like
they
really-
wait. I know what happened in my college this because they finished the movie and realized none of the Earth people are in this
movie
at all. And they were like, okay, we only have like. We don't want to change the plot at all, so we just kind of have to drop some guy in there. They came up with Claude and put him in a couple scenes.
let's.
And also, that's so weird because it's like, why do we have the tiny kid who's in love with this adult woman? I'll just end on some pros. I thought that the city street scenes looked really nice, and it felt like a city that you could live in. Some of the cool things that they could do, like the glass blowing, and how some of the elements have like their own thing, like how the Cloud people play that one sports game that seemingly is forgettable because I don't remember what it was called at all. And the music was good because it's the guy who did Finding Nemo and Wall-E. You could definitely tell that. Yeah. So that's like the
I'm sitting here trying to think
90-minute movie.
I did actually like
what I
Wade.
really liked about
Besides the
it.
fact he's one-dimensional, he was like the only character I could actually kind of like.
It was
Yeah, so that's what we thought of Elemental. Honestly, this is probably going to be in the 40,000 videos that I've already seen on my Explore page on YouTube of the fall
The fall of Pixar.
Also, I hate the character design of the Earth people in particular because they all look very dry. That's how I came to the conclusion. They all look extremely dry and like they'd crumble right in front of you, and I just hate.
Extra. Read all about it. Okay.